Good day, everyone. Today we are traveling to Japan to have an interview with the author of one of the first novel in the world. It is an honor to meet you, Lady Murasaki. Please introduce yourself to everyone.
Yoichi Nichi. This is Murasaki Shikibu, the daughter of Fujiwara Tametoki from Tokyo, Japan.
Please tell us about your parents.
I was born on the century of 970 here at Tokyo, Japan. I am glad that I was raised here with my political parents, and I humbly inform you that we, their daughters, are the empresses of our dynasty.
Please tell us about your parents.
Like I have said earlier that my family are engaging with politics. They used to arrange their daughters into a marriage. Because of my parents' political power and control, were married to an emperors and members of the imperial family, and I am married with Nobutaka. You know what? My mom died when she got me born, that's why. My father raised us on his own. That time, I learned to get an idea on how my brother did while studying. That time, only I were given a chance to learn Chinese language. However, we got given an opportunity to learn too, because our brother taught me about what they are talking about at school. Luckily, because of my intelligence and talents, I went to a formal education and I took subjects like music, Japanese poetry, and calligraphy.
Lady Murasaki, what is a novel that you are known for?
I became famous because of the tale of Genji. Because it was the first well-known novel in the world. Because of its 1,300,000 pages, it is consists of poem and courtship that many women are relates to, and they appreciate it.
Lady Murasaki, please tell us what is your inspiration with the novel.
My inspiration in the tale of Genji are it was an ideal one to put an imagination on how an ideal man gives you holds and doing courtship. I wanted to see the beauty of love despite of one's social status, even if you are poor and you fell in love with a person that is richer than you, it doesn't matter.
Do you have other literary works aside from the tale of Genji?
Yes, I have. Some being famous too, and most of them are short, and I also created poetry and poem series. Arigato for interviewing me.
The Tale of Genji, written in the 11th century by Murasaki Shikibu, a court lady, is Japan's oldest novel and possibly the oldest Japanese literature in the world. Murasaki Shikibu's book is both descriptively and psychologically true to life. It deals with society as it was and people as they were. This remarkable woman had independently developed the novel as a true literary form.
I am the prince of my own story. I am handsome, and I am the popular son of the Emperor of Japan. A courtly romance of medieval Japan is primarily concerned with my armors.
I am Kinokami, a young courtier at whose home Genji meets Utsusemi.
I am Yugao, a young noblewoman in love with Genji. We lived together in secret within the palace grounds for a time, until I died tragically and strangely.
I am Murasaki, a young orphan girl of good family. Genji secretly rears me, and a year after Princess Ami's death, when Murasaki is of marriageable age, he makes me his wife.
I am the father of Genji. I'm the new Emperor Raising, and I became the reason why Genji's rank raises to the highest possible.
I am Princess Aoi, the daughter of the Minister of the Left and Genji's first wife.
I am Kiritsubo, the mother of Genji. I am favored by the Emperor over all of his other concubines.
I am Fujitsugu, one of the Emperor's concubines. After the death of Kiritsugu, the Emperor married me. Meanwhile, I was in love with Genji and ended up being pregnant with his child, whom the Emperor thought it was his child.
I am Utsusemi, a pretty young matron and another of Genji's paramours. I realized that the affair cannot last, so I end it.
Now kids, let us hear this story to be told by Miss Alexandria Shane Cuario.
The Tale of Genji. Lady Kiritsugu, Genji's mother, is adored by his father, Emperor Kiritsugu. Because of the jealousies of other women at Paulowina court, particularly Lady Kokiden, she becomes ill and dies when Genji is still a child. The emperor is depressed as a result of her death, so he marries Fujitsugu, a woman who reminds him of his first love. The emperor actually has a lot of wives, but because he loves Kiritsugu more than anybody else, he marries Fujitsugu, a woman who looks exactly like Kiritsugu. The emperor was worried about Genji's future. The emperor admires him and wishes to appoint him as his heir, but he lacks political support due to his mother's low status. As an alternative, he removes Genji from the imperial dynasty and gives him his own surname, Minamoto, so that he can work in the government as a commoner. Despite the fact that he is officially a commoner, he enjoys his father's favor and court freedom. He matures into an attractive, clever, but reckless young man. As a young man, Genji is forced into a political marriage with the daughter of an influential member of court. But he is not happy with her, although they had a son, Yugiri. Instead, he falls in love with one of the emperor's wives, Fujitsugu. He sleeps with her, then she became pregnant with his son, Reizei. They pass the boy off as the child of the emperor. Knowing he can have Fujitsugu because she belongs to his father, Genji looks for love elsewhere in a little girl named Murasaki, who looks exactly like Fujitsugu. She is Fujitsugu's niece, and she is just 10 years old when Genji falls in love with her. He takes up her care and raises her like a daughter before marrying her when she reaches adulthood. Genji is beautiful, attractive, bright, affectionate, wealthy, and politically well-connected. His talents help him gain political influence, and he becomes more influential and strong in the courtroom. Genji is soon caught in act of having a sexual relationship with the daughter of his main political opponent. Genji decided to hide to escape his wrath. He goes to Suma by the island sea of Japan, the ward of Kobe City. He cannot bring Murasaki with him, and he is very lonely without her. Alone in the wild, he must endure hardships, and he is almost killed by a storm. When the storm ends, a wealthy aristocrat rolls by and invites Genji to join him at his home in Akashi. Because of the beauty of these third wives, Genji falls in love with her. Then when he comes back to the court, the girl is pregnant with his baby. After returning to court, Genji tries to control his sexual desire. He focuses on improving himself and increasing his power at court. He continues to rise in riches and power even if he is not lucky in love. Genji decided to marry the daughter of his half-brother. After they are married, Genji finds her to be unsatisfying as wife. When Murasaki became sick, Genji abandoned his new wife to be with his old love. While he is gone, a man enters the house and sleeps with his new wife, causing her to become pregnant. Kaoru, the son she births, is passed off as Genji's, but Genji is well aware of the truth. The true father dies from the shame of the discovery of his illicit affair. To Genji's great embarrassment, his new bride decides to become a nun rather than live with him. Murasaki dies 3 years later. Genji is broken by the loss of Murasaki and goes to live in a temple, where he spends all his days until his death in his 50s. After Genji's death, the tale continues the story of his two descendants after an 8-year gap. Kaoru is now an adult. Noyu, Genji's grandchild by the girl he made love with Akashi, is his best friend. Best friends Kaoru and Noyu becomes rival in love.
The moral that the tale of Genji's story conveys to humanity is the need of maintaining things that can last a long time. Poetry, literature, woman's worth, serious courtship, and more. The story illustrates how love may lead people to find contentment.
Tale of Genji's message to humanity is that love for someone isn't applicable for everyone. You can't love everyone the same way you are loving that someone. Don't make someone in pain even without them knowing, because in the end, you will only hurt yourself the way you are hurting that someone by cheating on them and by having affair.
The message of the story to humanity is that love isn't about the desire of having sex for many women, or about the struggle to conquer all pretty women, but love must be kept with a woman we love forever.
The tale of Genji depicts how women in the 11th century were objectified as pleasure givers and a warmer with whom you want to spend the night with. The main characters in the story, particularly Genji, demonstrates how powerful love can be in destroying, building, or changing a person from within. Women's worth is defined by how a man perceives them physically and sexually. And it is heartbreaking to think how women try to fit into the idea of love and to be loved by men during those days, which ironically arise up to these days. Women are worthy, powerful, and are capable, not just to complete a life of a man, to give pleasure, or to do household chores.
The story shows uncertain events. Like Genji, he chased women and treated them as precious, but he ended up feeling attracted to a variety of women. People nowadays are easy to a person, especially to the love of their lives. Some became difficult as a result of trust issues. Even though Genji was not faithful at all, the story taught us how to be content with what we have. For I believe that when people are constantly joking around and not taking themselves seriously, it may lead to people becoming unhappy and lacking a sense of contentment. Above all, we must remember that while love may take time to develop, the perfect timing will provide us with the best feeling.
The story tale of Genji taught us that pleasure you get from affair or cheating will only make you feel good and happy for a short time, not knowing it gives troubles and problems afterwards.
The story teaches us on how a man is capable of loving every woman he loves, even though he knew that he can't control himself for having sex on different women. The story teaches us how women back in the day are being used for satisfying a man and ended up carrying a baby for months. Also, in addition, the story shows how man is able to groom a little girl to be his wife. It saddened me because it happens in real life, on how people are able to do this kind of love. In love, we should be with someone who is ready for a long commitment, not to some person who just want to feel pleasure and leave you like nothing happened.
Emotions, if not validated, can be extremely deceiving. It is difficult to determine someone's intention for you. Like most of the women in the story, including the author herself, Lady Murasaki. Genji groomed her at the age of 10, and with the mind of a 10-year-old child, it is difficult to discern whether Genji's intention was for love or lust. Which is also the same with Genji's other affairs. It is heartbreaking to think of how Genji treated them like a machine for trial and error, and after using and failing, they will be tossed into a bin like a worthless trash. We cannot just simply pick someone to marry just because they are attractive to your eyes and can satisfy your lustful desires, and toss them away because you found them unsatisfying to be with, as if you were a dog who just intercourse and then live. As stated in the Bible, marriage as God designed was and will always be sacred. All marriage is honorable and the bed is undefiled, but whoremongers and adulterers will be judged by God. Hebrews 13 verse 4.